Duane Rice is a landlord we'd all like to have.
All right, little babies, let's see how you're doing.
He loves his tenants.
And these chicks look to be about maybe 5 days old.
Even if they'll soon fly away.
Within the first year that I lived in Pleasant View, I had several bluebirds pairs looking for nest boxes, so I started putting up nest boxes on my property. Good morning. Do you mind if we take a look?
Today, Duane has at least 80 bluebird boxes stretching from Cheatham County, where he lives, all the way to Montgomery County. A bluebird trail, as he calls it. He's adding more every year.
It doesn't necessarily have to have a trail beside it or whatever. If you just have a big yard, if you set up two or three boxes spread out over your property, that's considered a trail.
Having survived his own serious illness, Duane feels a spiritual connection with the bluebirds, survivors themselves of a decline in numbers due to habitat loss, while still facing an uncertain future.
The mortality rate is 80% once the chicks leave the nest box. Most of them don't live to see adulthood next year due to predators and weather and humans.
That's where Duane believes we can help by putting up a bluebird box.
Start slow. Start with one box. Pick you a good spot. A lot of times it takes moving it before you find that right spot that they're going to take to it.
If you're interested in putting up a bluebird house, Duane says there are a couple of things to keep in mind. First, you need to find an open area, but not too open. There should be some trees and shrubs nearby so the birds have cover. Next, the house should face east to the southeast and should be mounted on a pole 5 to 6 feet high. You also need a baffle. That's to keep predators away. But perhaps most importantly, Duane says you need to be committed to taking care of it.
So many people have good intentions. They go buy a box and they stick it up and they forget about it. And more than likely a house sparrow is going to take it over, and then they're doing more harm than good because then they're increasing the house sparrow population as opposed to the native songbird population. Rotary Park, box number 2, female flush from nest box on 5 bluebird eggs.
Duane checks his boxes regularly, carefully noting what he finds so he's aware of how and when the bluebirds hatch.
The female lays 1 egg per day. Generally speaking, the first broods, she'll lay 5 eggs. So after the 5th egg is laid, you can count 14 days from that date, and that's the date that the chicks will hatch.
An added benefit is that tree swallows can use the boxes too.
They fly a lot more than bluebirds do. They're constantly flying through the air and eating bugs, insects on the wing, whereas bluebirds are eating insects on the ground.
But it's his love for bluebirds that even takes Duane to strangers' yards.
If I see somebody that's got boxes, I'll stop and talk to them because I know if they've got boxes, they're into birds, and if they're into birds, then we got something in common. Howdy.
Today, he's visiting with Maxine Manees.
This guy drives up, I'd never seen him before, and he says, I'm Duane Rice, may I monitor your bluebird boxes? And I looked at him and I thought, well, if you like bluebirds, you can't be much wrong with you, so I said, okay.
Knock, knock, anybody home?
Duane certainly isn't alone in his love of bluebirds.
All right, let's see what we got in here.
But unlike most people, he's very involved in monitoring the nest and keeping count of the hatches. It's a little extra work, but the results can mean more bluebirds and some great peace of mind.
I love it. I really love it. I get out here on the trail it makes me happy. I feel like I'm doing something positive, especially for the next generation, that these birds will be here for them to enjoy as well.
I'm Ken Tucker on Tennessee's Wild Side.